do like I do occasionally, and I try to force this tool, it will not function properly. I have to get the tool in a position where it's capable of performing to its maximum potential. That means bend. You ever try to bend a real stiff 12 weight or 13 weight? I tried it with about 20 feet of line out and I couldn't do it. I had a hard time. I learned something. This rod does have to bend, and that's why I like a softer rod, so that I can get it to function like this. But in order to catch the fish that you guys fish to, you have to have some stiffness. You have to have a rigid tool to be able to get your hook set, but also to be able to turn those fish when you need to. At this point, I want you to understand is, the more line you have out, the more weight you have, the more weight you have, the more you can flex this rod. The more the rod flexes, the better you get that performance right there. If the rod doesn't bend, you're not going to get it. See? So how do we get it to bend? We have to begin with an acceleration and stop motion that will create the flex in that rod with the weight of the line in the air. Or you can use the weight of the water too. That tension on the water will cause that rod to bend. So you can use the water to help you make a cast. So whatever you can find to help you perform the best that you can, utilize it. Use all the elements you can. Use the wind. Sometimes it doesn't always go in your favor. So what I want to try to do is I want to show you a few things here. Getting that rod to bend, but also once you get that rod to bend, you get that line to go in the air, what you want it to do is go as straight as you possibly can. I'm using this lighter line so that you can see it. See this tape measure here? This is a good thing to practice with. Take a rope, put it out in the yard someplace. Then as you stand here, you start your practice cast. As you're coming up, you want that line to go straight down that rope, just like this. What does that do? It causes that fly to get to the destination much quicker. Think of a baseball player. If he's throwing a pitch, and that pitch is going straight, you think the velocity is going to be better? When he throws it with a curve, what happens to the velocity? It decreases. It's pure physics. So the straighter you cast, the faster that line goes, the easier it is to get that fly to go where you want it to go. My error in this type of fishing is just that. I want to come up here and I want to do a finesse cast, and I found out. Experience told me you can't do that here all the time. I was fortunate to have Lefty Cray as one of my casting instructors. Lefty is one of the best in the business, and he has a style called modern casting style that's very, very effective. Now, how in the world can you get a rod that goes this way to cast a line straight? It's very difficult to do that. But if you practice with the mental note that I need this tip to go straight, if this tip goes straight, I can get my cast to go straight. So what I want you to think of, see this elbow? It's coming in close to my body. And I'm going to show you other styles of other casters. The same mechanical process is beneficial in their cast. When I'm about to make my cast, the strip set, I'm still learning the strip set. It's very similar. See, I'm pulling, if I'm pulling back, look where my elbow is. I'm pulling back here to get that set. All right? When I'm making my cast, if I'm doing an overhead cast, look where my elbow is. It's straight over here to my side. The reason I keep it in here close, because my hand's coming straight up and down, straight up and down. If I come off to the side, what do you think is going to happen? Remember the curveball? That's why I don't really emphasize this unless you feel very comfortable coming back to the side and then coming forward, because you're going to have a tendency to swing with a curve, just like this. And if I was to stand this way, watch my hand. From here, it comes out, and back here. There's an arc. You have an arc, you have slack. When you have slack, you lose energy. So that's why it's very difficult for a lot of people to cast, because they come out here with their arm oftentimes and they lose leverage. As soon as this elbow comes out, come on out here a second, Joe. I want you to help me with something. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this. You understand it. I want you to face the crowd. Okay, when you put your arm out here like this,
that go very far. Go ahead.
Oh, I picked the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to push with your hand right here, okay? Push.
Yeah,
No power. If you put your elbow in, now push. You feel a little bit more strength there, more power.
That's where all the power is.
It's the same with a boxer. When a boxer's boxing, he gets more leverage when his elbows are in and he's boom, boom, boom. Instead of out like this, he doesn't have any power. So what I want you to think of is that power and energy. Whenever you're keeping your elbows in, I can turn at my hips with my hand in close to my face. I can keep my line close and straight just by turning my hip. I hardly move my hand at all. I'm just turning right here, and I can push. And I'm getting a cast. Now just think what would happen if I extend and I was able to do that. Now I get more distance. One of the things that you want to remember is if you want a longer cast, you have to increase your stroke. So if I do a short cast right here, I can only do it for so long. Now what will happen is I lose power. See? I don't have enough power. The line's going to collapse on me. See how it loses energy? It creates slack and I can't get the cast. So what do I have to do? I have to increase that stroke just a little bit. So you'll begin to feel that limit right here. Now what I'm going to do is just increase it just a little bit. And it just goes right out with a little bit of energy. Now, how many of you here double haul? Okay, put your hands up so I can see.
Was that the key word?
Dry is a better word.
Okay, good. Because it's essential. Essential to make your cast efficient. Without trying to muscle it, you can double haul and get the most out of your cast without really working hard, but it allows you the opportunity to get through those breezes, the wind when it's blowing in your face. I'm not talking about the 30-mile-an-hour winds like Brian gets to every once in a while, but I'm talking with a little bit of a haul. Look at the energy that was just created. Just a little haul. The key to the haul is timing. Knowing exactly when to apply that haul. Remember the bend I talked about in the beginning? If I can apply that haul at the exact appropriate time, I can increase the energy and cause that rod to flex or bend even greater just by applying that. When it does that, what happens to the speed of the line? It increases, and it's like a bullet coming from a gun. The faster that bullet goes, the further it travels. The faster the line travels, the further it will go through the air. Okay? And if you notice, the line's straight. That is a key. It is so essential. And I don't care which direction you're going. If you're going back or forward, that line has to travel straight as possible. So you can go and get the same distance. So you have to turn around. No, you don't have to turn around and cast this way. Fish is back here, all of a sudden the guide says, okay, he's back here at 3 o'clock. You're looking at 9. It's boom. There it is. You can be on that fish in a hurry. But your cast should be symmetrical. From that point to this point, there should not be any variance whatsoever. You shouldn't see an arc in the air. And if you happen to see an arc, or if your line collapses in front of you, I'm going to show you one thing that you can do to correct that. What happens with that line when it collapses? Look at the line in the air. I want you to watch it. See how it's collapsing? You know why it's collapsing?
The rod's not there.
Watch my wrist. I'm bending it. I'm trying to throw this thing. This is my wrist right here. And it's not going to go anyplace. How do I know I'm bending it? When this comes away from my forearm, I know I've just put slack or I've lost leverage in my cast. Think of this as a lever. And this lever has a hinge on it. And I just put this lever underneath a rock and I'm going to pry that weight up. The longer that lever is, the easier it is to pry the weight, right? Now there's a hinge on this lever. I've got the weight in that object at the end of this lever, and this hinge that's back here happens to collapse.